Well, let's set up our little deck chairs in the usual blasted no man's land of January, made all the more bleak by everyone being huddled in their bunkers waiting for the Grand Theft Auto 6 launch date to drop and land on everyone's schedules like the fucking Tunguska event. So let's indulge our regular routine of tying up the loose ends from 2024, such as, why didn't you do anything with Concord, Yahtzee? Surely AAA publishers getting buggered over an ironing board is the thing you picture in your mind every time you blow out your birthday candles. Sony's half-billion live service failure should have been red meat to you. It certainly was, listener, but all the best chops of the red meat got taken before I even got to the carcass. I didn't even have a chance to play Concord. It had come and gone from online stores by the time I even heard what a delightful shitfest it was. Nothing one can do now but retroactively take the piss out of the character designs, and I'd like to think that's beneath me. I really would like to think that.
Concord.
Oh look everyone, it's the adventures of Parallel Universe Dr. Robotnik after they got mauled by a rabid set square, and her best friend's bastard offspring of Michael Rooker and an artichoke, photo negative of Alucard from Helsing, the Quake 1 protagonist's embarrassing mum standing too close to a heat lamp, wet weather Gabe Newell, someone who cobbled together their World of Warcraft costume in 5 minutes in the alleyway behind the convention centre, 80s synth pop music act representing Anorexia Awareness Month, the cafeteria tray that walks like a man, etc, etc, etc. Phew, that was fun actually. Man, I've never seen this many pastel colours and rounded sunglasses in one place. It's like watching John Lennon choke to death on Candy Love Hearts.
Animal Well.
I'm a little embarrassed about this one. I played Animal well and found it to be a perfectly functional Metroidvania, with some cool imagery and interesting twists on traversal. It brought back fond memories of those old Commodore 64 explorative platform games where you go screen to screen avoiding patrolling multicoloured Mickey Mouse heads and spinning refrigerators, and the protagonist is a nondescript blob that's all the memory limit will allow. But everyone kept going on about how it had some transcendent shit going on with post-ending stuff, and I just wasn't seeing that. So I did some research and discovered that the interesting stuff was only going to start after I found one more hidden egg. But I didn't have the first idea where to start looking for it. I thought I'd already checked everywhere, and frankly I had other shit to do. So it just got away from me. I apologise, Animal Well. It's not you, it's me. I got tired of searching every nook and cranny for leftover eggs when I had to go to Whole Foods on Christmas Eve.
Mouth-washing.
A short horror adventure experience that I was hesitant to fully review because it isn't very long and only barely escapes the walking simulator label, thanks to some slightly annoying arcadey bits and several inventory puzzles where you go into one of two available rooms, pick up a thing, and take it to the only other available room. But it's a very absorbing story experience. As recommendations go, it's a heavily qualified one. Hey, check this game out. It's really horrible and upsetting. You'll love it. The premise is a small group of low-level workers on a spaceship crew under the heel of a massive uncaring corporation are stranded by a disaster with no certainty of rescue and nothing to eat but a cargo of mouthwash. And through a series of events and hallucination sequences presented in non-linear order, the situation inevitably decays and we discover that everything was completely fucked from the start and they might as well have all cut their fucking throats from the word go. So yeah, feel-good hit of the summer, but made weirdly compelling through some unique iconic visuals. It's so, what's the word, visceral? It really helped me appreciate how context and sound design can make an act as simple as opening someone's mouth for them into something really bloody gross.
The casting of Frank Stone.
I've kept my eye on Supermassive Games and their parade of glorified choose-your-own-adventure books in much the way an oncologist keeps their eye on a worrying growth on somebody's prostate. But I do think there's potential there. Until Dawn and Man of Medan were alright, but after playing through their new one, Casting of Frank Stone, I didn't think it worth reviewing because there'd been no improvement in any of Supermassive's key problem areas. To wit, their inability to come up with a single fucking character who didn't richly deserve a brick to the teeth, none of your choices mattering for 2 squirts of mung on the back of a gravedigger's shovel in the first 3 quarters of the game, and the last quarter being an incomprehensible, horribly edited mess when your choices start mattering too much. The only thing worth noting about Casting of Frank Stone is that it's set in the Dead by Daylight universe of all things, and sets out to establish how the whole situation of that game came about. And I figured I already knew how it came about. Behaviour Interactive wanting to bank off a successful live service game for the rest of their fucking lives, and a whole bunch of owners of defunct horror IPs needing to earn a living and there only being so many conventions in a year.
Me-side.
With so many indie games fighting for my attention, a 50,000 strong overwhelmingly positive review rating on Steam is definitely one way to stand out, but it soon became clear that Me-Side was benefiting from the influence of the weeb demographic, because if there's one thing the weebs love more than weeby dating sims, it's weeby dating sims with deniability. Oh no, actually we like it because it's secretly a subversive horror game in the Doki Doki Literature Club mold, with an interesting meta-narrative about being trapped in a video game world with a fun smorgasbord of gameplay mechanics and creative set pieces, and not because there's a hot anime babe in it, and we want to imagine being a slug slowly crawling up the outside of her exposed thighs. Me-Side was somewhat fun, but it really straddles the line between subversive pretend pervy weeby game and actual pervy weeby game. Even being chainsaw murdered by the hot anime babe had a distinctly fetishy vibe. The total giveaway was when I beat the game and unlocked non-subversive actual dating sim mode, although when I started it with wanking hand poised, it just said, oh sorry, we haven't finished this yet, come back in 6 months. Weak, guys. Say you're early access if you're still in early access, don't be such a fucking tease. Oh, guess that's on brand actually.
Sorry, we're closed.
But let's end things and go into 2025 on a much fucking needed positive note. I played Sorry We're Closed over the holidays after it was recommended. Hey Yachts, have you played this game? It's really fucking weird, like you. So I did, and now I pay forward the recommendation to my fellow weirdos. It's like, bear with me on this, it's like if Resident Evil had a horrible misshapen PS1 graphics baby with Catherine, and the midwife was Suda51, and if every single character was gay. You play a hipster lovelorn cyan-haired convenience store clerk who gets seduced by a demon. I say seduced, it's more like fall in love with me or I'll pull your legs off and ram them up your piss hole, and has to explore a series of dungeons to avoid becoming the new plaything of hell. It combines Persona-esque division of time between surface reality and dungeon descents with an engaging story that's at heart about relationships and how no one really understands how love works, especially not leg-pulling nightmare demons. It's also got an innovative combat system based around rapidly shooting sequences of weak points that I found rather refreshing, if only because it didn't employ a dodge button or a timed parry like every other fucking combat system lately. Yes, alright games industry, we get it, timed parries are fun. I think magic shell's fun, I wouldn't use it to paint my fucking living room.